People of Earth, how are you? My name is Joe. Al is not here, and he and I have something going called Kinda Right. And I am attempting to do my first show alone, which I got to tell you is a very strange feeling, because you're sitting in a room by yourself and you're talking, and it's kind of like talking to yourself, which is why when I suggested this podcast that I have somebody with me, such as Al. But having said that, I'm going to give it my best shot, and you guys can weigh in. There are other people that do podcasts. One of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr, he does a Monday morning podcast all by himself. And his podcast sounds like an echo chamber because he's got a cell phone sitting on the table doing it. But he manages to do it by himself, so we're going to give it a try here. So, one of the things about doing the podcast by myself is that you have to think of things to talk about really fast, because you can't look at the other person and say, why don't you talk for a little bit while I look on the computer and find something to talk about or something that interests us. So I basically just have to keep going here and talking and run out of steam and, hope that the three people that usually listen to us are not annoyed. So here it goes. I've been paying attention to this, the Comey McCabe. Jim Comey, of course, as all of you probably know, was the former FBI director, and Alex McCabe was the assistant director. And today, Alex McCabe, the DOJ, requested that or recommended that charges be filed against former Assistant Director McCabe for basically lying, lying under oath, which is, you don't think about it as a really serious thing, but when you get into that level of things, you don't want to lie to the federal government or the FBI. It's better to just say, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't remember, or I don't know, or I don't recall. But you don't want to make up a lie. So I think what's happening is that slowly the wheels are starting to come off this long-term effort to make Trump an illegitimate president. And let me try to explain what I'm talking about here. Now, I think that it's very easy to say that Donald Trump is just a horrible person. He's a horrible guy and awful president, not qualified, just a buffoon. And there's a lot of that going on. But you have to understand something in this country. In our country, we have, there are institutions where there are made up of families that have kind of run things forever. And when I say that, I kind of, and you'll say, well, wait a minute, Bill Clinton came from, a single family household. His mother was poor, and he brought himself up. And yes, that's true. And Hillary Clinton, the same thing. She didn't come from any kind of royal stock. But there are families and institution runs by families in this country that have been around for a long time. And what they do is they have children and they raise their children a certain way. They send them to the same schools they went to. Think Harvard, Yale, well, not so much MIT, but very Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Ivy League schools. And they go to, their kids go to certain prep schools like Andover Academy, which is where the Bushes went. And there is, what I'm trying to say is that there is a institution that sits in which there are people drawn from that end up being our leaders, or at least that maybe not the pool that they're drawn from end up being our leaders, but at least these leaders that we end up with are approved by this group. And it's not a conspiracy thing. It's the group is made up of, our mainstream media, our the officials for the Democratic and Republican parties, party officials. Meaning these people are approved of. They get the nod. And the one thing that Trump did was he bypassed all that. And that's, in essence, why you see so much of, so much of a backlash. It's, there's so much hatred and really just animus towards this guy. Now, granted, he brings a lot of it upon himself, but this guy, according to these people, should never be president. And it doesn't matter what anybody else in the country thinks. And that is one of the reasons that I enjoy having this guy as president, because he's shaken the shit out of what is normally, which if Hillary Clinton won, she would just be just one in another line of presidents that were approved basically by the people that I was talking about formerly. And he's not. And he doesn't play by their rules, and he doesn't do what they want. And that drives them absolutely insane. And after 8 minutes here, I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to come right back and start talking again. Okay, we're back. It's amazing how I can go away for about 20 minutes, come back, and then it's like I never left, huh? So I was talking about this whole James Comey and Andrew McCabe. Did I call him Adam McCabe? I think I did. Andrew McCabe. And the deal is, this is starting to come off the tracks. And what's happened is that in our system here, everybody thought Hillary was going to win. And nobody believed, and even myself didn't believe that she was going to, it was going to be Trump. It was going to be her. So these folks, Mr. McCabe, Mr. Comey of the FBI, did things accordingly with the idea that Hillary Clinton was going to win. And essentially what they did was they let off a fucking crook. And she, by definition, is a fucking crook. And all of a sudden, exactly what everybody thought was not going to happen happened. Donald Trump won. And what that does is that the apple cart, talking about upsetting the apple cart, this dumped the apple cart. All these people that thought that, it was going to be business as usual after Hillary Clinton got in were fucked. And they thought, well, hey, when Hillary gets in, none of this is going to matter. Certainly not going to continue to investigate herself. Everything's going to be back to normal. She'll keep me in because she got elected, figuring James Comey, Andrew McCabe, who I think I called Adam, but fuck it. We'll call him Adam and Andrew McCabe. Maybe his father called him Adam or something. So now what we have is, after months of this fucking insufferable Russia bullshit, can you honestly believe that Trump is on the phone to Vladimir Putin saying, Vlad, what we need to do is you got to break into, the DNC. I have to understand something. Let me give you, I'm, if you've listened to this show, you know that I'll fully admit that when I don't know anything, but I know a few things. Now, here's a couple of truths. The Republican Party, the RNC, Republican National Committee, or Republican Party, and the DNC, both of those organizations were approached by the FBI because there was firm evidence that both of them were being hacked by outside sources. Now, I don't remember, so I'm not going to say it, but I'm not going to say that the FBI said, you're being hacked by the Russians. But they were being hacked by outside sources. So the RNC cooperated fully with the FBI. And they let them in, they let them go through their computers because, when you think about it, the RNC really didn't have anything to hide. Meaning the FBI isn't there to, the FBI is a pretty solid organization. They're not there to find out whether, specific information and then pass it on to the DNC. They're not going to do that. However, the DNC, which was run by the infamous Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is a fucking scumbag and probably should be fucking killed. They did not allow the FBI in to help them with their security. And they did so for really good reason. Because if you remember, we had a guy named Bernie Sanders that was running along as a Democrat. And the fix was in. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was fixing the Democratic primary so that there would be no other outcome other than Hillary Clinton winning that, the Democratic nomination for president. So by not letting the FBI in, they continued to allow themselves to be exposed and be further hacked by the people, Russians. And, when it got down to, and you think about it, when it got down to like WikiLeaks, who had all the John Podesta stuff, and they had the Hillary stuff, and it was just, I know this is wrong to say, but in a way, whoever hacked it did us, just the regular Joe six-pack American, really did us a service because they showed how dirty these motherfuckers really are. These are the dirtiest motherfuckers you'll ever. I mean, this is scumbag shit. This is our country being controlled by a handful of people And systematically, they're just fucking criminals. They're criminals. So I'm not trying to say that, I'm not trying to say it's a good thing that Russia hacked in, but we found out so much. We wouldn't have found out about this, the server. Everybody says, oh, I'm sick of these fucking emails. But this is a big thing. You have a woman here, Mrs. Clinton, who thinks that it's not a big deal to have classified information on a fucking machine being hacked. Not only being hacked, but, this information was on Anthony Weiner. Now, let me put this together for you that don't know. Anthony Weiner is married to Huma Abedin. Huma Abedin was Hillary Clinton's, and still is, closest aide. It was on Anthony Weiner, who is now in prison, I believe, on his computer. This is classified information. So the whole thing sucks. And it just, this Russia investigation bullshit, it's a reaction to Donald Trump winning. The people that I was talking about earlier, and I'm talking about the press. I mean, I don't know if you people, I watched Andrea Mitchell, and I watched the great Wolf Blitzer. I watched the Van Jones on CNN. Van Jones, who was an African-American fellow, very intelligent, said that Trump winning was a white lash. When you say white lash, you're talking about and of course, Van Jones has his racist radar up on everything. Now, when you say white lash, basically saying, white people got together and voted against their best interest just to get this lunatic in. As if all these white people are just fucking morons. Or, as Hillary would call them, deplorable. Well, Hillary is deplorable, and hopefully she's dead. We haven't heard from her in a while. Hopefully she's dead. Her kids are dead. Or her kid's dead. And, will die soon. So, I got to get off the Hillary thing. But as far as Trump goes, we got Trump. And Trump is not doing a terrible job. If you notice, the economy's not bad. Now, of course, you will hear every day that this is just the chaos administration. This administration is in constant chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. And the deal is, if you stand back a little bit and go back and look what the New York Times was writing, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months into the Obama administration, or any administration for that matter, you're going to find the same shit. There is nothing unusual. People are getting fired here. People are getting hired here that shouldn't be hired. It's just that the hate for this president is so great. I mean, let's put it like this. Bill Maher. I love Bill Maher. Bill Maher's had a show on HBO, or a show, I should say, because I believe he was on a network station before that. His show, Politically Incorrect. It's funny. He's a funny guy. He's a smart guy. And for the first time, I can't watch Bill Maher because Bill Maher hates Donald Trump so much that he can't mask it. So every show is a show about, this is what Trump did this week. This is how much he sucks. All his kids should be fucking killed. Here's a guy, I'm going to have a guy on right now in the beginning who fucking hates Trump. We're going to talk about how much we hate Trump together. Then I have 3 people in. All of them hate Trump. We're going to sit around and talk about how much we fucking hate Trump. And then we're going to go on and, we're going to have one person walk in through the back. They're going to fucking hate Trump. And then the 4 of us, we're going to talk about how much we hate Trump. Then I'm going to do a series of other shit about hating Trump. And then that's the show. So he might as well just change the name of the show to We Hate Trump and Here's Why. So, I don't know. So is anybody out there sitting by themselves and just sort of staring into a microphone and thinking that, why the hell am I talking into this thing? I'm telling you, this is very hard. It's very hard to do. I don't know how a one-man show kind of thing happens, because you just got to sit there and keep talking. And I'll tell you, I'm looking at, we use this, I haven't worked this program, so this show may never air because it's probably not being recorded, but we use a program called Audacity, and I'm watching it, and this red marker just continues to go by like crazy. And I feel like I have to keep talking and talking just to keep up so that there isn't any dead air. So, like, a second of dead air is... Actually, a second of dead air is a long time, you know. When you watch it pass, a second of dead air is crazy. So, Al is moving. And I don't remember the last time that he moved, but let's just say Al's out of his fucking mind. I don't know why. See, there's 2 things involved here. Now, Al, much like myself until now, Al's never had a real full-time job. So I think that he's finding out that moving was so much easier when you could just, like, give yourself a week off or a half day here and a half day there. Whereas now he has to actually go to a job. He's got to be there at 9. He leaves at 5. And there ain't no fucking around. I mean, he can't just take the day off because he doesn't make that money. So that's a tough thing to do, and it's one of the things that you realize when you've been self-employed, much like myself, is that you can, take a lot of time off to do what you got to do. But when you don't have the time, well, you can't really do that. So he's doing painting the new place and trying to get the old place ready so that he can get his, he's a renter. He can get his security deposit back, and there's a lot of work to be done there. So, in the news today, and I discussed this earlier, Andrew McCabe. Now, you got to understand how strange this is. He's able to lied under oath. This is the assistant FBI director. Lied under oath. And now he's bagged. Now, again, like I said earlier, and I apologize for the continuing to go on the Hillary direction here, but I'm having a hard time coming up with things to talk about that I can't sit back and I can't think and let Al roll on and talk, which is why you kind of have to have 2 people in a podcast. Otherwise, it sounds just like a shit show. Or you got to be Bill Burr, which I'm not. So, this guy was thinking, hey, clear sailing, Hillary's getting in, going to be no issues, and everything will be fine. Well, that didn't happen. And Trump's in, and he's fucked. And this guy may very well go to jail. As much as Hillary might go to jail. So, with that, having said that, fuck politics. I know that I can't pay it. I used to be one of these guys that I watched, and you have to understand something. If you lean Republican, you can't watch Fox News. You can't. If you watch things or listen to things that only bolster the things that you think about, then that makes you pretty much a moron. You want to learn new things. So you have to listen to what is the other side saying against the things that I believe. And that way you can kind of say, well, all right, I hear you, but I don't agree. But every once in a while, there's something that someone says, and you go, holy shit, I kind of agree with that. So what it does is, by listening to the other side, to listening to beliefs other than your own, and and things that you hold, to be gospel, you become a more well-rounded person. Now, most of the time, you're not going to be swayed, but every once in a while, you're going to be, it'll open your mind up a little bit, and that's the whole deal. You want to be able to have an open mind and be able to think about this stuff, and be able to sway your stuff. I mean, sway your beliefs a little bit, and. So I used to watch, I don't know, a couple hours of this shit, cable news stuff at night, and read all the time about it. And it's just, you just end up an angry person. So it's not worth doing that. So the other thing that I don't do is I don't watch any TV. And when I say I don't watch any TV, I don't watch any, for half-hour shows. I don't watch any reality television. But what fascinates me, because you can't get away from it, is the very fact that the Kardashian family is still around. I believe they still have a show. And it is a fascinating phenomenon to watch. And I've never watched the show. And believe me, if I watch the show, I just say, I've watched the show. I haven't watched the show. I've seen outtakes. I've seen clips here and there. I've seen enough so you get the gist. And these people are I don't know if they're dumb, but they certainly come across as dumb. They're definitely exactly, if I had to raise another daughter, they're exactly, I would say, look at this, don't be anything like that, because these people are fucking whores. And if you look at their lives, and yeah, sure, they got a lot of money, but who gives a fuck? They're scum. They're fucking scum. They're, Jesus Christ. They're just, how can you sit there and be the mother of these 3 daughters and be proud? Is there 3 of them, or I don't know. There's the fucking Kendall and Kim and I don't know. There's fucking some daughters. Maybe there's some Jenner daughters in there. I don't know if those are the Bruce Jenner's daughters or Caitlyn or who the fuck he is now. I mean, she basically, this woman's whoring out her kids to make money. I'm not the first person to grasp this, but forgive me. I'm doing a one-man show here, and this is not easy. But they're fucking whores. Let's face it. They're fucking whores, and they probably should be executed. Like, if you never saw the Kardashians again, you'd be better off. The country would be better off. So if they were fucking executed, I think it would be a good thing. Now, having said that, I got to take a piss, so I'm going to pause this thing, and we're going to start again in a minute. Well, I tried it. I'm back, and I tried to talk about the Kardashians. I just don't give a fuck. Except that I'd like to see the fucking Kardashians killed. Nah, I wouldn't even like it. It's just, if they died, if they disappeared off the face of the earth, it would be a good thing for everyone. So, what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to say, I think I was calling it the former director or assistant director of the FBI, Alex McCabe. His name's Andrew, not Adam. His name is Alec. No, his name isn't Alex. It's Andrew. I'm telling you, this doing it by yourself shit sucks. You need a co-host. I don't know how these Rush Limbaugh guys do it. Rush Limbaugh, he does 3.5 hours by himself. This is fucking crazy. This is a hard thing. He deserves the money, I guess. So I want to say that I just think that, we are so blessed right now in this country to have our system which protects everybody. And we have a guy in office who is not he's not a hero. He's by no means a hero. He can be a disgusting individual. Yes, he's fucked some really good looking women, which you gotta but while he was married, that's not a good thing. This guy has ripped the lid off the shit that's been going on, that's been ass fucking us for so long. He really has. And if you want to say, yeah, all he's doing is, helping the rich out, well, that's fine. But I'm telling you, this guy's done a pretty good job so far. And there's going to be nothing's going to come of this Russia thing. And he's going to go on to become the, he'll win he'll be an 8-year president. And his hair will still be orange. And he'll probably say shit on Twitter that's inappropriate. And he's not presidential. And he says things that, are politically incorrect. But you know what? He's better than the fucking Kardashians. And he's better than that filthy, lying, lowlife, cunt, whore, motherfucking, dog fucking, coyote fucking, inbred fucking whore, Hillary Clinton, who is hopefully somewhere crying and will die soon, along with her rapist fucking husband, Bill. And that's show 48, 35 or 36 minutes long, and you guys take care. And I know this show sucked, but you know what? What the hell? I gave it a try, and I might give it a try again. Over and out.